Hold on to your mug. We're in for a wild night.
Welcome everybody to episode 85 of Born to be Wild, a Wild exclusive Hearthstone podcast where we have fun hanging out with friends, talking about the Wild format of Hearthstone, and spotlighting members of the Wild community. I am your host, as always, Nate Wolf. It is great to be back on a very dark kind of winter evening. The weather over here shifted very suddenly, and all the leaves have managed to fall off the trees, and it gets dark quite early these days. But I'm very happy to be back. We skipped last week's show a little bit selfishly on my part, but it was my wedding anniversary, and had a great
Congrats.
time. Thank you. Had a great time, but it is great to be back hanging out with everybody, and so have a very special show for you all tonight. So first and foremost, hi Hydra Sheep, it's good to see you. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Coming at you guys from the Lower Mainland in British Columbia, and it's also super dark here too. Pretty gloomy, but it's getting cooler out, and the storm has passed. I'll touch on that a little more later, but it's great to be here. I'm glad to get back with you guys after the break that we had, and I'm stoked for the show.
Absolutely. And of course, my good friend Electric Sheep City, great to see you again. How are you doing tonight?
Meowdy, great to see y'all as well. It is definitely, being 2 hours later, it feels like it's pitch dark, like it's the middle of the night, and it's 8:30. It's wild. What is time?
Tell me about it. Yeah. Well, always good to see you. And we have a very special guest joining us tonight, so I'm very excited to hang out with him. We've got legendary Wild Hearthstone player, streamer, and content creator with a bunch of awesome YouTube content. Welcome to the show, Rownin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So if you'd be so kind as to maybe give us a brief intro for people who may not be familiar with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, just as much or as little as you're willing to share?
Yeah, I'm 27 years old. I work full-time at a Tesla Gigafactory. Working
that sounds
these
fun.
Yeah, well,
it's work, I'm sure.
we work these intense 12-hour shifts, so literally half my life goes to Elon Musk. But then the other half is spent with my fiance and kids, and whatever time I have left over, I create Hearthstone content.
Awesome. I saw you had a bunch of Mercenaries content as well as Wild, so that's exciting. How have you been enjoying that mode?
I have enjoyed it much more than I anticipated. So yeah, I've been diving deep into it for sure.
Nice. Very cool. Hey, so how did you get into Hearthstone? How long you been playing, and in terms of Wild in particular, what was it that got you into that mode?
I like to think this story goes back to when I was 11 or 12, actually. Okay. When me and my brothers were sitting around watching a South Park episode called Make Love Not Warcraft.
Yes.
The Sword of a Thousand Trees.
And we were so intrigued with the episode that we went out and got World of Warcraft, and we played for years. Come 2019, we all decided to get BlizzCon tickets. So we drove down to BlizzCon, and the whole ride, my brother was playing Hearthstone. And he was like, hey man, you should download this. Duel me, it's fun. And I could not stop making fun of him for playing Hearthstone.
Oh no.
Just bagging on him. And even after the opening ceremony, we would be standing in line at the Blizz shop and to demo games and things. He was like, dude, you should download it. So I finally caved.
It'll shut you up.
And first time played Hearthstone, standing in line to demo World of Warcraft Shadowlands, and then 2 months from then I put out my first Hearthstone video.
Wow, man, it got you good.
Yeah, you caught the bug.
I'll never.
And I was talking all that crap
That's
too.
so funny. No, that's how it happened to me. It was my brother that got me into it way back when, and I'll never forget, when I finally started playing it, it hit me, because I played Magic and I played all the others, the other games, Pokemon and stuff like that, and just the quality of the artwork and the animation and the sound effects, and it was so whimsical. Like Magic takes itself so seriously and everything. And then I open up Hearthstone, and what I hear is like, just you wait till I've got 10 mana. And it's just like, it was so fun. And then clicking on the board, you can launch the catapults, and you can light the fires and all that stuff,
Fires and missile.
Yes. So yeah, no, that's great. That's great. What else do I want to ask you?
So how did you kind of make the plunge, not just from Hearthstone, but into Wild in particular?
So, of course, all you see is standard for the most part when it comes to content. And, usually when you start a game, you go like normal mode or standard, right? Mm-hmm. So I just jumped into standard. And I played that up until just, 5 months ago. And I was really bored with the meta. I think it was really stale at that time. So I decided to play Wild. I crafted, I think, Secret Mage, and 4 days into the season, I hit Legend, and I was like, wow, that was a much more enjoyable experience for me.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good deck to get people into the format, because dust-wise, it's not very expensive. It's very accessible, and you can learn it quite easy. So it's not necessarily the easiest deck to play, but it's a really good way to get yourself into Wild.
Yeah, for sure. And what I love about Wild is I'm still learning all of I have no idea what half of these cards do even. So it's like I'm relearning how to play Hearthstone all over again, which is very enjoyable. It's just fun, Well,
there's so many different combos and things that you can do in Wild. Like, we're still learning new decks in Wild. Like, someone comes up with this new crazy combo, and it's like, hold on. Like, I played a deck the other day. I actually lost all of the games, like, all day. So, like, it's just a fun process, right?
That's great.
Part of learning a new deck.
Hey, I mean, yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Hey, while we're talking about games, any other games that you play, whether it's PC or consoles or card games or whatever?
Kind of like I said, from the time I was 12, I was playing World of Warcraft, having no idea what I was doing, but running around killing stuff. So MMORPGs for sure. And then recently I've gotten into a little bit of Apex Legends, but for the most part, it's just Hearthstone right now, and I'm good with that.
I will say I really like the kind of expansion cycle. I feel like the timing is pretty good, especially with the addition of the mini sets, because like Magic and Pokemon in particular, like the content comes out so frequently that there's no way I could ever keep up with it. It's just too I love the the constant stream of new stuff, but like money wise, it just gets too expensive. And so
it is, yeah.
4 months seems to be good, and mini set coming out in between. And so anyways, yeah.
And if you're ever bored with anything, there are so many different game modes. Like you would have to try to get bored in Hearthstone now. Like Battlegrounds is always fresh. Mercs. I haven't even touched duels in ages, and like that mode was so much fun, but there's just so much other stuff to do. Like, it's crazy.
I wouldn't even know what the meta was like over in duels. I'd have no idea. It'd be a whole new thing to
I don't even know what expansions are legal in duels right now.
Yeah, but it's nice to have things change every once in a while too. And I always forget, I'm still trying to grind out those Demon Hunter wins, and like duels games count, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Even non-ranked, that's the best part. The ranked
the casual
duels. Casual duels fully counts towards your wins, unlike in standard casual mode, which is good to remember.
Yeah.
Rownin, you mentioned you had not too long into playing Hearthstone had made your first Hearthstone video. So you make videos on YouTube, correct?
Yeah, I do my best. So like whatever free time I do have, I try to backlog videos and try and schedule them ahead of time, because my fiance works the opposite shift that I do at Tesla. So on my days off, she's working the 6 to 6 shift, and I have the kids. So it is kind of rough, but I manage somehow. So yeah, it's all on YouTube.
I see. Well, and so maybe I was mistaken. So it's primarily YouTube content then, not streaming?
I've recently picked up streaming on YouTube, not Twitch because it's definitely oversaturated.
Oh yeah,
I feel
it
so.
definitely
I've moved over to it.
Yeah, how do you like it? I've always
So-
been curious about that because like we post our content to YouTube, but never tried streaming on it.
There's definitely pros and cons. For one, if anybody were to donate, that I don't even think that's an option unless you have met the requirements to be a YouTube partner. Unfortunately, which is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, feels steep to me. But and then emotes, and there's definitely pros and cons. But as far as the algorithm goes, I think the YouTube algorithm can better help your stream get noticed. Discoverability for sure is a big one.
Would you be allowed to say you didn't meet those requirements? Is there any rules against advertising having a Patreon or something?
No, not at all. It's, I definitely should. I would advise that everybody do that who's trying to come up on the YouTube game. Explore all the avenues and advertise as much as you can. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Very cool. Well, I love your YouTube stuff, especially I like seeing the mercenary stuff because I love playing mercenaries. I'm really not very good at it, and so it's always fun to me to see other people's stuff and what's going on. And so yeah, no, I've been a fan. So yeah, excited to have you on the show and get to chat tonight. There's so much news and stuff to talk about, so I'm looking forward to kind of digging into all of that. I do have one final question. We asked this of all of our guests: is where did you come up with your username? Is there any sort of story behind it, or how did you come up with Rownin?
Yeah, there's again, I was watching TV. All my stories start with TV. I saw a trailer for a movie with Keanu Reeves some years back called 47
Yeah.
Rownin. And I thought, I didn't know what the word meant, but I thought it sounded really cool. So I Googled it, and come to find out it's samurai with no master, like a vagabond samurai. I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. So I kind of adopted it. And unfortunately, when I went to make it my battle tag, somebody had the correct spelling.
Rip.
So I had to throw that W in there. Now people call me Rowan, or just the other day I had somebody in Discord send me a GIF of the lead singer from Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst, going rollin', rollin', rollin'.
Ronin.
It's like, no, despite that W being there, the N is right there. So
There's also the Robert De Niro movie Ronin that came out like in the 90s.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I haven't seen that. Gonna have
It's
to.
okay. It's not a must watch, but it's
I
pretty
recall
good.
being a little bit slow, but like good story. But yeah.
No, that's cool. We get all sorts of different stories as to how people got their name. Sometimes it's as simple as Nate Wolf.
That's my name.
And then other times there's this complicated, like, philosophical reason that they have their name.
Sometimes
so
it's
that's
what I was
pretty
eating
cool.
for dinner, right?
That, like, examples, breadsticks and pizza both had that for
Great.
there.
It's great. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, let's move into our weekly recap, see how everyone's doing, what we've been up to, whether it's been in life or in Hearthstone. Nate, let's start with you. How you been doing?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. So, kind of following the ongoing like pain saga. So yeah, I've got 2 hernias right now, and they hurt all the time. I've got surgery scheduled for a week from today. So, I never thought I would say this, but I'm looking forward to going to the doctor and getting surgery done because I'm hurting really bad. It makes it difficult to like go to work because like it hurts to sit, it hurts to stand, it hurts to walk around, it hurts to, you name it. And so spent most of my time like we went out to Lazy Boy and bought a recliner, and I spent most of my time like sitting in the chair with the iPad. But it's going okay. It's going okay. I'm managing about as good as I can. And so Yeah, I guess quick side note, no show next week because I am going to be recovering from surgery, and I think everyone else has got some conflicting plans, but we should be back after that. So what has been going on? So last week was my 16-year wedding anniversary, so that was great. It was great. I feel like I don't know. It was just an absolute blast. My wife and I, we went out to dinner. We went then to the movies, and then we saw the Eternals, and that was really fun. I liked it quite a bit. I didn't really know what to expect. I've watched all these Marvel movies and really familiar with the comics for most of them, and the Eternals is like not one of them. It's like an old John Romita Jr. comic with a bunch of space stuff, and it was just not my jam. But the movie was really fun. You know, I got to hang out with Jon Snow and Robb Stark the whole time, which was cool if you watch Game of Thrones. And I didn't realize, like, you know, as soon as he walks onto the screen, I'm like, oh, you know nothing, Jon Snow. But but the guy who plays Icarus, I didn't realize it until later. Like, I'm like, he looks so familiar. He looks so familiar. He kind of reminded me of Sebastian Stan a little bit, the guy who plays Bucky. I'm like, he looks so familiar. Who is?
Oh, he really does,
Right?
doesn't he?
I'm like, who is that? And then someone mentioned it later. It was like, oh yeah, it's you know, there's the Game of Thrones reunion. It's Robb Stark, and I was like, oh. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun. It was really long. It was like 2.5 hours. But like, I don't know. I didn't feel like it was all that slow. It's different. I don't know. I think with these movies, like if you go in expecting, you know, some award-winning movie or some kind of crazy thing, like you're setting your expectations a little bit too high. But if you go in just saying, hey, I want to have fun, you know, like you'll be fine. And I really enjoyed it. We had a good time. It was funny because we went to my brother had given me movie tickets, AMC movie tickets for, I don't know, birthday, Christmas or something like that a couple years back, and we just never used them. I kept forgetting about them, and so I got to use them. I couldn't believe they still worked. And when we were watching the trailers, like they had the sound so loud that the entire theater was like vibrating and just cracking up. It was like never seen anything like it, but it was great. Had a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a big shout out to my wife for putting up with me for so many years, and we've been having a lot of fun. And so yeah, it's been a pretty good week. In terms of actual Hearthstone, I'm sort of camped out right around 250 Legend and Wild, and then kind of shifted over to focus on Mercenaries. I am so close to having them all maxed out. I've got 2 left, so Edwin and Mr. Smite, and they're close. I'm like, I don't know. In terms of coins, what is it? A little bit less than 1,000 coins away. Sheep had told me about a way to, I don't know if you want to call it like power leveling or whatever, but like you don't have to put 6 mercenaries in your party. You don't have to put, you know, 3 mercenaries. So I was making, you know, initially I got all these pirates, and I was, I had a band of 5, like all the new ones, and I was just going through the first stage, but Baron stage 1, because you get, you know, 5, 10, 15 coins for one of your party members when you beat it, and then kind of realized, oh, stage 2 is a little bit more time efficient because there's a guaranteed boon for the second level. And so I only have to beat, you know, the first encounter, you skip the second, and then there's the third and the boss. So only 3 fights, and then you get your coins. You know, rinse and repeat times like 500 to max out your merc, and it takes a long time, but it's easy. So you can do this while you're, you know, laying in bed or watching TV or whatever it is. And then Sheep says, hey, you know, I had tracked it for a whole day, and I was frustrated because I was like, look, I got 100 on this one, 250 on this one, 110 on this one. And Sheep says, like, hey, I see what you're doing, but it's so spread out. What do you think about just putting 1 mercenary in your party, and then at least you're guaranteed to get coins for that mercenary? And so if you're trying to max one out, do it that way. And I switched to that, and I was like, oh, okay. And so over the course of last weekend, I used that method to max out Sneed and Eudora. And so I'm getting there. I mean, it's a little slow, but it's fun. It's something to do. I switched over to standard. I hit Diamond 5 with Quest Pirate Warrior. And like, I was trying other stuff, but like I that deck, I don't know. You don't have to think that much when you play it. You just play cards on curve, and and go face. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
And so I hit D5 and then I switched over. I'm right around 600 Demon Hunter wins. Like everything else is over 1K. I want that portrait. And so I switched over to Demon Hunter and I've been trying out the new cards with some really janky builds. That I've just been losing a lot, but it's been fun. So Proving Grounds is one of the new cards from the mini set that says, I think it's a 6 mana. You pull two minions from your deck and they fight each other. But the way that the deck is built, it uses some of the big like dormant minions or the ones with the death rattles where, they smash into each other, the death rattles trigger. So that's been fun. But like, if you don't, like, you have to hard mulligan for Proving Grounds, and if you don't pull it, or you draw all your giant minions, it's terrible. It's fun though. And then the other one we'll talk about in a minute, but like the new legendaries came out this week, and so I saw Tice was playing a deck with Vanndar in it with big Demon Hunter. He was 100% win rate, but it was only 6 games. I have lost like 15 in a row with this deck, so I'm I think it's just dust bait, but like it's fun at least. The last thing for me, I know we always kind of share like what we've been watching or reading or whatever, and if you like it or you have Audible or whatever, Neil Gaiman's Sandman, there's like a full cast radio drama production or whatever, and I think it was about a year ago they came out with part 1, but part 2 just came out, and so I absolutely love it. Neil Gaiman is my favorite author, aside from Stephen King, I suppose, and I had read all the Sandman comics ages ago, and so these are really fun. So I've been listening to that. I couldn't sleep the other day. I got up at like 5 a.m. and went downstairs and watched this movie called The Night House, and it was really good. I like the horror genre. And this was really fun because it wasn't like, it wasn't gory or bloody or whatever. It was more of like a mystery, like really strong story, really strong atmosphere, some mystery elements, some good scenes and whatever. The sound was really good. And like, it was just great. I totally recommend it. It was a lot of fun. And so, yeah, I enjoyed it. It's not available to stream, unfortunately, unless you want to pay for it. But I had got the DVD from my local library, and so I watched it. It was a lot of fun. The only other thing, my wife and I, Hydra, you've been saying that you guys have been watching Frasier, and it's on Paramount Plus, and so we've been watching Frasier like every night before going to bed, and watched the first episode and was like, okay, he's a little weird, and then I keep watching. I'm like, oh, the brother's really weird, and then when they introduce the dad, like he's so funny, and they're just so different. Like it's hilarious. I don't know. It's been absolutely it's been a great time, and so yeah, it's been good, and I can't wait to keep going through more of that together. So anyways, yeah, I thank you for letting me talk. I feel like I haven't talked to y'all in ages, and so it's good to catch up. So that has been me. Yeah, that has been me. Sheep, what have you been up to?
Yeah, gosh, so I've had, I guess, a couple of shots since last we spoke. So last Monday, I got my COVID booster shot, which is great. Had, the COVID booster side effects, so it was kind of out of commission for a little while. But the more kind of relevant for us here shot that I got was in my foot. So I went back to the podiatrist, and they were like, hey, yeah, your plantar fasciitis isn't kind of going away, so here you go. And still doing all the like stretches and PT and stuff like that. Thank you, Dr. BOMD. He recommended quite a few of them that were more helpful than the podiatrist who spoke with me for like 15 minutes. Doc has spoken with me much longer than that, so he knows what's up. So my foot now feels like almost completely normal again. It's wild.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely going to keep with the, like the stretching and stuff like that, so it doesn't, digress back into, where I'm just falling apart again. But like it's back to normal, and maybe before too long I'll like start going running again and like be a normal sheep. It's great.
Hey, congrats! So that's good. I'm glad. It's it's so difficult to live with like constant pain, right? So I'm happy for you. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. When life is pain, it's difficult. And honestly, mobility issues. Like I'm not used to, not being able to move around. And like even just living through that has been, really illuminating too. So I definitely am glad to kind of be back on my own 2 feet.
Hoofing it. Yeah.
Hoofing it. In Hearthstone, I hit standard in legend.
Hey.
Inside joke, callback. So hit legend and standard with taunt aggro druid. So was saying goodbye to Razormane Battle Guard because the nerf announcement had kind of come out, and so I was like, oh, I really like this card, I really like this deck, jam some games with it, to kind of bid it a fond farewell, and ended up hitting legend there as well. So back to my double legend ways. Never did it with classic, and probably never will. Just it's a bit more of a grind. But speaking of grinding, I've been grinding mercs. I hit fully maxed out mercs pretty early before the new ones came out, and probably just burned myself out a little bit. So whenever the new ones came out, I was like, there's other stuff going on. And now the burnout, I applied some aloe vera gel and I'm able to jump right back into it. Nate is a little bit further ahead than I am, but I've been working on catching up. So we'll see.
You'll probably still beat me. You have this magical way of just like jamming a bazillion games, and we'll see. It's a little bit of a race. Not that it matters, but
I saw the other day that Nate had posted like, "Oh, look how far I'd come," and then like a couple hours later, Sheep's like, "Haha, look what I did."
Yeah, I think in the last 2 days, I've grinded 1,500 coins.
I
which is just absurd.
Yes. But I'm proud of you. I mean, it's it's an accomplishment for sure.
Yeah, so that's been a lot of, it's been fun. It's been kind of cathartic, but it's not the can't wait to be doing this thing. It's the slow and steady. It's the marathon, right? Yeah. So that's been fun. In other media, I've been reading actually Star Wars, a Visions novel, Rownin. So really well timed that we've got our very own Rownin guest here, right? Which is pretty cool. So that's an extension of one of the Star Wars Visions episodes. And it's really, really interesting. So it's like this Sith dude who's going around and, fighting this other Sith, and I don't want to go too deep into it in case anyone wants to read it, but in the episode things end, and in the book they don't. I'll just put that out there, right?
Interesting.
Kind of like that. So it's really interesting. Listening to it on Audible, it's got almost like a cast to it. It's really well done there too. So highly recommend that. That's what I've been diving into. In TV, I've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. Nate kind of inspired me by watching Seinfeld. I decided to work my way through a different, classic Larry David. I'm only on season 3 or so. So the new season is starting to come out now. So I'm gonna eventually get there. But I'd never, I'd seen an odd episode here or there, but never just watched it. And these things actually have arcs. You can just jump in, but watching a whole season, it's got a whole narrative arc that you don't really follow if you're just catching an odd episode here or there. So that's been pretty good. My in-laws actually arrived right as we were starting tonight. So later this weekend, I get to spend some time with them doing the American Thanksgiving thing there. So that'll be fun. They're heading out on Sunday, and my best friend gifted me Inscription on Steam today. So I haven't played it yet.
How is it?
So on Sunday, I'm going to play it. So I haven't dived in yet.
Want me to tell you?
No,
I've heard a lot about it.
don't tell me
I've heard a lot
anything.
about it.
Yeah, I am so excited to play that. My friend was like, "I have to get this game for you because you will love it." Like as he was playing it, he was like, "This is Sheep's game."
Okay.
So
I
I
heard it was
I
really
can't
good,
wait
yeah.
to watch it.
All right, yeah, I'll have to check it out. I've seen the logo and stuff before, and I've never played it, so I don't know. I'm always looking for other stuff. Like Hearthstone is wonderful. We love Hearthstone, right? But it's when you get Hearthstone fatigue, it's fun to have other things to be able to jump into.
There was one day that Hat posted, "Go buy this game. Don't ask why. Don't look at any spoilers. Just get it." And I'm like, sure. So I just went and did it, and I went and played it. I won't say anything more.
Yeah, and I basically was like, "Oh, cool. I won't read anything else. Eventually, I'll get to it, but only whenever I'm fatigued on other things." And whenever my friend was just like, "No, you're playing that this weekend," I'm like, "Oh, well, I guess that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend." So that is both my week this past week and a little bit of a foreshadowing for what I'm going to be doing later this weekend as well. So that's how things have been and will be here in the city of Electric Sheep. Rownin, how about you? How have things been in your neck of the woods?
Unlike you guys, my week was pretty uneventful. Other than I recently turned 27,
Happy
so
birthday.
I was able to get.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Thank you. I was able to get a bunch of new PC parts. Pretty much a whole new PC aside from my hard drives.
Wow. Okay.
So I spent the last week building a PC, and it is much, much better. Tremendously better.
That's
It's great.
cool.
That's awesome.
I was
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I always wanted
Go
to
ahead.
put one together myself. It seemed like it seems like a fun project.
It definitely is. I sat there. I don't know. Let's see. It took me 4 days probably because I would get off of work. I'd put an hour or so into it, and then the next day put another hour into it. And I'm sitting there watching a tutorial on my phone on how to do it, and I would mess something up, and it's like, oh no, I need to go get this part now. And it is a fun process for sure. I could see why people do it as a hobby. So it was fun.
Very cool.
That sounds great.
That's awesome. Always love getting those tech upgrades, and gosh, a whole new rig except for the hard drive. Like that you must be singing
yeah.
with that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and there's that, everybody wants to mine crypto, so graphic cards are not easy to come by. That's for sure.
Yeah. I know they're expensive right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the 3080s, I don't even think you'll get one for.
No, yeah,
forever.
I looked into them and it was like they're like, what is it? I don't know. What was it? It's like $2,000 or something.
Yeah.
It's like you got to be kidding me. It's crazy. So,
I gotta let that die down. Like I've got a 2060 that's in my computer, and I've got no reason to upgrade. I'm good.
Yeah,
It's fine.
you'll be good for a while for sure. But other than building a PC, just usual work, dealing with my maniacs of kids, and trying to get some Hearthstone content out when I can.
nice. Hey, I saw in here you mentioned that you watch some anime. What are you watching? I'm always looking for recommendations because I enjoy it, but I'm looking for like great storylines and stuff.
Oh boy.
We're going down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah, we can't. I mean, I got my fiance into watching it. Like, I begged her to watch an anime with me, and she finally caved, and we watched all of Naruto, which is an extremely
like
long
500
series.
episodes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But then she really enjoyed it, so we watched Demon Slayer, which is only one season right now. It's a pretty good storyline. Right now, we're watching Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Nice.
My kids watch it with us too because it's cartoons to
Yeah.
them. And then next, I think we're gonna jump into Attack on Titan.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I've heard
It's really good. I just started watching My Hero Academia, or whatever, however you pronounce it, and I really like it.
It's
It's
a
been
good one.
fun, and yeah. Anyways, very cool. I appreciate the recommendations.
Yeah.
So yeah, very exciting. Cool. Well, hey, Hydralisk, what have you been up to?
Yeah, as for me, it's been a little crazy lately. Up here in BC, in the Lower Mainland area, we had the crazy storms earlier last week on the weekend, and it just poured and it poured and it poured, and we got our highways flooded out. The city of Abbotsford is literally like underwater. You can't drive anywhere. They've been evacuated. Same with the other city of Merritt. They've been evacuated.
Are these pictures here that you sent over?
Yeah. There's a couple pictures that. So yeah, that's the city of Abbotsford, and so it's just literally underwater. And the storm destroyed the highways too. So like coming into Vancouver, like you can't take the main highway in
unless you have a submarine or a boat. I mean, geez Louise, like that's like, crazy. And you're not that far from me, and we didn't get, I mean, it's been pouring rain for a week, but like not like that. My goodness.
Yeah, it was really crazy. The morning that it was happening, I was driving to work and I went under an overpass, and all the water was pooling like in the dip. And I was wondering why it was taking everybody so long to get under there. And that's because everyone was taking their time and driving really slowly. And so I drive in a Dodge 1500. And so I was okay because I'm like raised up. But like the other cars were just like, okay,
like
we're
floating.
We're pulling off to the side.
Turn around, don't drown.
We can't go through that. So everyone's having to go around them. And so luckily I was okay to pass through just nice and slowly as the water is like at the like bottom of my doors kind of thing.
This is all just from rain, right?
Yeah, it was rain. And the problem with this city here is they actually built their city on an old lake, like a lake used to be there. And so the water actually just naturally flows into there. I mean, it's
what could go wrong?
Best. I know, that's what we all keep saying. They actually have pumps installed to suck the water out when it rains because it pools in there.
Wow.
But yeah, it's been pretty brutal. Do you guys remember the toilet paper fiasco when COVID hit and you couldn't get toilet paper? Well, people remember. Because people are going to stores and rating them of everything that is like, you can't buy meat. Like meat is all sold out. Like I went to Costco and I went to the meat section and it's just gone. Like it's completely gone because nobody can get in with like the tractor trailers with all of like the goods, right? Like we're literally stuck. We're surrounded by mountains and the goods can't come in. And so if you actually want to go to the rest of Canada, other than flying out, you have to actually drive into the States and then up back in, like down and around the whole disaster area and then come up. So, yeah, it's been pretty crazy. They actually just put, because now people are trying to hoard gasoline. So everyone's filling up all their jerry cans and all their cars and their tanks and stuff. So they just put a limit on how much gas you can get at a time, which is, I know you guys do gallons there, but it's 30 liters at a time, which is not a lot. 30 liters does not get you super far. So, I mean, that basically means you got to fill up quite often, but the lineups are just crazy. Like going to a gas station. Apparently, I don't know. I haven't tried in the last couple days because I had filled up just before this, but I guess the lineups are nuts. And now just this afternoon, they put a limit on how much you can put in.
Wow.
Because, yeah, people are crazy. And then it's your first thought, right? Like, oh no, everyone's buying all the goods. We should go get some too. But then you're just, like contributing to the problem.
Snowballs, yeah.
Oh no.
So I've yet to do so. We've got plenty of food in the pantry and stuff. I'm sure we'll be fine. It's not the end of the world. It's just it's unfortunate. A lot of people like lost their homes and all that.
Yikes.
So
well, no. So let me ask you. There's one other picture here of the road, and it's like broken. Is it a bridge or what is this? Like this is crazy, Hydra.
So yeah, this is one of many pictures of the broke. So when you come into Vancouver, you come in through this highway called the Coquihalla. And you basically drive up to the top of a mountain and then down into the Vancouver area, into the Fraser Valley. And it's a dangerous highway. There's actually a TV show about it called Highway Through Hell because that's where all the accidents happen. It's like it's a big enough accident area that there's a TV show that shows all of the like the accidents and
Wow.
So this is one of the pictures of where the highway has actually like completely collapsed and other parts are just flooded with water, and it's so basically you can't get the trucks in and out, right? So there's no there's no leaving. I wasn't planning on leaving anyway, but it's
Well, that's good.
fortunately I live on like an elevated area on like it's just a hill, but like mini mountain, if you will, like not planned out.
It's a good thing that water flows downhill, right? So
yeah. Ari Morton in chat says he's watched Highway Through Hell. But yeah, so it's pretty crazy, but the storms are all over. Everyone there has been some people hurt and stuff, but for the most part, everyone's fine. It's just now recovering from the whole thing. Yeah. So other than that, like, I know we stayed home because a lot of people lost power, and everyone, you stay home as much as possible when stuff like this happens. So I decided that I was trying to get acquainted with some Shutterwalk Shaman, and I found out I am not good at it.
No.
No. I noticed that a lot of people were posting lists like Reno Shutterwalk, Reno Galakron Shutterwalk, and I'm like, that sounds cool. I have all these cards. I'm going to play it. And like, I would love to use the excuse that I like hit all of the bad matchups. But if you look at my wheel of matchups that I played every class except for Demon.
They're all bad matchups. Oh, rip. I'm sorry.
Was this Dustbait? No, it was fine. I had all the cards anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But I had fun while losing.
Well,
so
there you go.
There you go.
I guess I can't complain too much. I don't know. I don't know if it's actually that real good into the meta or not. It didn't seem to be so when I think
it's really not. But there's a couple people, that are like aficionados of the class that do really well with it always. I suppose, if you know how to play it and you know the matchups really well, like, it's usable. But in terms of like, is it sitting in a great place right now? Like, nah. Probably not.
No, it's just full of like clears and value and bouncing back your value cards to your hand and then clearing again and then healing again, and it's just like a slow, grindy control deck. Sometimes people just like my few wins that I did had where people knew what I was playing and they conceded automatically because they didn't want to play for half an hour.
Nice. Yeah, I think a solid quarter of the deck is tech cards, and then like you said, you have a lot of bouncing mechanics. So like, I'm playing against let's say a Questline Hunter. I can keep on playing that tech card against Questline Hunter, and then once you get Shutterwalk, there you go, all of your tech cards once more.
Yeah, it is fun though. But I will say most of my time, like you guys, has been with mercenaries. It's been a lot of when I get home from work, I mindlessly am grinding out these mercs. I'm not as far as you guys. Like I have everything to level 30, but I think I got like 30 or so maxed right now. So I got a ways to go. Yeah. But I do find one of my problems is I put Netflix on the other screen and it distracts me so much that I could be like at least 5 times more productive in mercenaries because it'll probably sit there for like 2 or 3 minutes and I forget to make a move. I'm like, oh, dang it. Because I decided to jump into The Sopranos. And I've never actually watched the entire series from start to very finish. I've seen every season except for the last season. And so no spoilers.
No,
I've managed to go like this long without knowing how the show ends.
That's good.
You see what happens is
Sheep, I will wear you as a coat. But so as everyone knows, it's an amazing show. But I've watched the first couple seasons, and I don't know how long it's going to take. A couple of weeks maybe, because They're longer episodes, but so I've been doing that. But yes, it's such an intense show, and it has such a good story that I'll like look back at the game and go, "Oh man, yeah, like got to make my trades go," like, and then get distracted all over again. So I guess Mercs is a little more slow going than it could be.
Yeah.
But I have been taking the iPad to bed a little bit too, and playing while watching some Frasier like you, Nate. Which I'm almost done, by the way. I'm on the very last season. I think I got like half a dozen episodes
Nice.
left.
All right.
Nice.
So and that's season 11. So you got a ways to go.
Wow. Well, good times.
And but that's basically update with Hydra. There hasn't been any much other than that. So how about we move into any listener series news that we have? Sheep.
Absolutely. So more information is going to follow before too long. So now that we have a date for the new expansion, which we'll get to shortly, that will help us to pick a start date for season 4 of our listener series. So nothing to report on yet. So stay tuned. It'll likely begin in early January. So be sure to submit any suggestions you may have for the 4th season in our listener series Discord. I think all but maybe one of our challenges last season was submitted by y'all, which is fantastic. Keep those rolling in because we do use them. We actively use them.
It's been great to kind of crowdsource the ideas for the challenges. And sometimes we'll exercise a little bit of creative control, if you will, or tweak things a tiny bit. But like, especially over the past week, we've had kind of a massive outpouring of ideas for the next season, which is really exciting. And yeah, we definitely want to keep using those. Everything is a little bit crazy this time of year because we've got all these holidays and stuff, but with the new expansion coming out, it's like great timing to get started. And so, yeah, more information to follow.
Yeah, more information forthcoming for the 4th season. But expect that in early 2022. So that is it for our listener series. Hydra, what's going on in the wide world of Hearthstone?
Well, I heard you mention something about a new expansion.
Just a couple things.
Well,
we got rumors.
Yeah. So there's a new patch coming on Tuesday. There's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. The first major announcement that if you're not living under a rock, you may have heard of already, but we have the next expansion. It is called Fractured in Alterac Valley. And this is coming out on December 7th. I believe that's more than been confirmed.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, they've said it officially.
Actively confirmed.
Yeah, so there was a lot of people speculating whether it's going to be the 2nd or the 7th or even the next week, but usually they like to I think it's a good idea. 7th sounds about right because say something's broken, they can adjust it before everyone goes on vacation for a week or two. Not a bad idea. But so there's 135 new cards inspired by weather as cold as the feelings between the Alliance and Horde. We've got some new features. I think this is super cool. There's a new sort of challenge or game, if you will, that they've decided to put into Hearthstone. We are going to have the Alliance versus the Horde. So when you log in, if you haven't already, you get to pick a faction, and this is who you are going to be sided with, and you can't change, so choose wisely. You get to pick one of 2 golden legendaries, and this will decide which faction that you get to be with. So between December 7th and January 11th, you accumulate these honor points for the games that you've played. And you can achieve these honor points by every game you play, you get 10. Every game you win, you get 10, but that maxes out only at 20. Is that 20 games or 20
it's 20
points?
total. So you get 10 for playing a game, and then if you win, you get 10 more. So you would get 20 honor points for playing a game and winning it.
Oh, yeah. I see. All right. And then 20 more honor for every game won against an opponent from the enemy faction. So bonus points if you're a Horde and you
beat the Alliance.
The Alliance and vice versa. So at the end of this period, Whichever faction has the most honor points, players will get a free diamond legendary of the winning faction's leader. So the two cards that there were, if I didn't mention this already, are Drek'Thar or Vanndar. And so I get to read just basically, if you haven't picked these yet. Drek'Thar is a 4-mana 4/4 that says Battle Cry. If this costs more than every minion in your deck, summon 2 of them. And Vanndar Stormpike is also a 4-mana 4/4 that reads Battle Cry. If this costs less than every minion in your deck, reduce their cost by 3. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was very confused at how these cards work at the beginning.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, big same.
When
I if I can insert a brief complaint here, I would just say that I love this idea. It's super cool. I think it's great. And I guess my only real complaint would be that, like, when you launch the client after the update, you had to pick, like, you couldn't do anything until you chose. So you get this pop-up here and choose a side for the Horde, for the Alliance. And there was no option to, like, choose later. And so I'm sitting here like, this is cool, but I want to think about it. And the way that these are worded, like, Vanndar, like, I get, okay. So if this, if you've got a bunch of 5+ cost cards, you reduce them all. But the Drek'Thar, like, I didn't understand. I thought, and maybe this is just my brain is not working because I'm, floating in a sea of pain. But, like, I was like, oh, summon 2 of them. Is it like you get 2 4/4s instead of 1 4/4? And I was like, I don't know. And I would have loved to be able to talk about it with other people or do something else before just picking. And so that's my one nitpick. I mean, the idea is great.
The idea is great. One other thing that we didn't kind of have fully developed was how was that you were going to be able to, and we now know this, you'll get the golden version of the other one by completing, like, the quest line that happens on the release day, right? So what I thought was going to happen, right, because the one that has the most honor points at the end of everything is going to get a diamond version of it. So I looked at these, I looked at Twitter, and everyone's like, the Horde. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to choose Alliance because everyone's going to choose Horde, and I'm going to get a diamond one of those. So if I do this, and I'm going to get a gold version of Vanndar Stormpike. Okay. Well, if I knew that I was going to get a gold one of each, then I would have picked the one that I thought was cooler to play before then, and that fit my play style more, which would be Drek'Thar. And, it has since come out about that, but like you said, Nate, we had to pick right then. We couldn't do anything else in game before we picked. So,
and like the patch notes were like huge, right? And so it was there. I mean, I've got it highlighted on the screen here. It says all players who complete all right, let me back up. It says honor can be gained traditional, arena, and duels modes. As you gain honor, you climb the ranks within your faction and progress a legendary quest chain that takes you through the Alterac Valley battlefields and rewards cards from the expansion. All players who complete the quest chain will receive the same total end rewards, including a golden copy of the enemy faction's leader. So this is their way of saying, like, oh, you're going to get the other one in gold also, provided that you do this legendary quest chain. But like, right. It was like hidden in the patch notes, and I was kind of the same way. I was like, oh, well, and I had heard someone say, I think it was Twitter, mention something along the lines of like, you're going to have all these people like malding because you're only going to get one of these in gold and the other one, they're not craftable. And I was like, oh, I can only choose one. And right. So, choose wisely. And I was like, oh boy. And I had the same thought that Sheep did. It's like, well, let's I guess I'll get one in gold and hopefully the other one in diamond. And I didn't even realize this until I was prepping the show notes earlier this week, and I was like, oh, you get both. But
you're just delayed on the second
I'm sad
one.
because I want to play them both right now, and that's the thing, like you can only play one. And I mean, it is what it is. But
and Deck Tech does an amazing job of the patch notes. The patch notes are great.
Yeah.
I wish that this was in the game so that whenever I was pulling it up on mobile before, like actually getting down to a computer and able to like, read the patch notes, I knew about that, right? The patch notes are great. The patch notes are comprehensive and told us everything we needed to know. In game, it doesn't say that, and we couldn't progress in game until we chose. So that's where I'm a little grumpy on that, if you can't tell.
Yeah, let's be real. Like, I would say probably, and I'm pulling this figure out of my butt, but like 90% or more people probably don't read the patch notes, right? Like they're playing on their phone or their tablet. Yeah. They're not as engaged in the community as we are. So yeah, I guess it would have been nice, because a lot of us probably sat there staring at their screen for a long time. Like, I think it took me an hour to pick which one I wanted. I was looking at YouTube videos, seeing if anyone had played them yet. Like, any of these
Which one did you guys go with?
I did Drek'Thar. Yourself?
Drek'Thar for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I picked Vanndar, but I have regrets, right? Because my play style is much more. It's like the Drek'Thar. I mean, I love these big decks that cheat out minions and stuff, but like they're fun, but they don't really win so much, and I prefer winning. And I much prefer the style or the game plan of Drek'Thar. But I didn't realize, like I kept hearing people say, oh, it's Call to Arms on a stick. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't get it. And I think that it's just worded a little bit awkwardly. I mean, I'm not saying I could do better, but I just didn't get it. And I'm sitting here, I was like, I want to go see what's in the shop and see the new stuff. And like, so I just clicked one, and then I've had regrets. But like, well, we'll get the other one soon.
Right.
Yeah, and I also chose Stormpike because I thought, Drek'Thar's the cooler one and the more competitive one, so we're gonna get that one in Diamond before going down that whole monologue that I just went on.
It was pretty close. So Hearthstone did a poll on Twitter, Horde or Alliance, almost 8,000 votes. Horde was at 53, Alliance was at 47, so it was fairly close. And then our buddy Ben Hearthstone Heathstone, I think it is, on Twitter and Instagram did a poll as well, and I want to say he had, I'm scrolling here, I think on his
it was neck and neck.
It was 4951 was the end result. I don't know how many, but there were well over 1,000.
Quick aside, Ben Hearthstone got a card reveal this go around, and I'm so happy for him.
I'm so excited.
That's so cool.
It's a really cool card too.
I'm so excited. No, here it is. Final poll results here. A little over 1,200 votes, and it was Horde 51%, Alliance 49%, and so it was pretty close. And I agree with you. I think two big things. I think having Alkali Lake as the new community manager has been amazing. She's extremely
she really has been.
She's just so good at her job, frankly, in terms of engaging with the community. And it was so fun. Like Ben, he was at like 47, or no, it was at 49. I don't know. He was pretty close.
It was like 49.
He was pretty close to 5,000, and Alkali says, hey, get this guy to 5,000. We'll give him a legendary card reveal. And I was like, what? It was just so cool. And
yeah, it happened in like 7 minutes too.
Like that.
And so, that was awesome. So just big ups like all around. She's been doing an amazing job, and big shout out to Ben as well, who I actually have alerts turned on for Ben's post, because like he gets the news so fast that I between the screenshots and the news, like find out things there before anywhere else. And so big congrats, Ben.
Yeah, big congrats. And not only does he get the news so fast, but he also displays it in a really like consumable way. Like I'm a really big fan of Ben's Twitter feed, not gonna lie.
Yep. Yeah, if you're not following, go follow Ben.
Get him further above that 5K.
One thing.
I was just gonna say, no, he's like well above it now. It's like 5,700 or something. I was like, whoa, that worked. Oh man.
Yeah, one thing I was gonna add is this legendary questline chain that we're going to get with the expansion that so as you're gaining honor through this legendary quests, you also unlock golden cards, not just these, but other golden cards from the expansion by doing these quests. So when those pop up, make sure you get all those done, and then you can get cool shinies, which I'm sure are probably uncraftable. I don't know, but
I guess.
yeah, I think that's really cool. Free things are nice. So
And gold things too.
free
Oh.
gold
love
things,
it.
yeah. So
Shiny.
we got the 2 pre-order bundles that are available already. The big one, the mega bundle, which comes with, it's $80 USD, and you get 80 packs, 5 golden packs, 2 random golden legendary cards from Fractured and Alterac. You get the new Vanndar Stormpike alternate warrior hero and the card back, and you get that right away, which is pretty cool. And so yeah, it's always fun to get the new hero instantly, and then you get 5 merc packs and 1 random legendary mercenary. So yeah, it's mega bundle time. That's something that I usually get, but there's also the smaller one, which is 50 USD. This comes with 60 packs, 2 random legendary cards from Fractured and Alterac Valley, and you get a card back, and each pack, as we know, includes your 5 cards with at least 1 rare or better. And to note, you do get a legendary guaranteed in your first 10 packs of every single expansion. So that's one good thing to remember. And they usually give you enough packs at the beginning through quests or the reward track that you can get to that first legendary pretty quickly. Rownin, is this something you usually pick up, or are you more of a free-to-play player, or?
I'm a big whale.
Big one?
Welcome to the
Yeah.
club.
You're
You're
in good company.
Yeah, I usually pick them both up actually, and open like 135 packs. Can't help it.
Well, you're in good company. It's something that we all do here as well. We usually all get both. And I got to tell a quick little story, sort of embarrassing.
Yeah.
So I pre-ordered, and I was pretty stoked. I also got a couple other bundles, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be great. Get my pre-order out of the way. And then after I pre-ordered, I was looking at my gold in the bottom corner of the screen, and it said I had about 5K. And that seemed a little strange to me because I thought I had significantly more than 5K gold. I'm like, what's wrong? I didn't spend any gold. I don't get what's happening. And I opened the launcher and looked, and I was logged into Asia. And I spent like over $200 on pre-orders and skins
On your free to play account.
on my free-to-play Asia
Oh
account.
man, I'm hurting for you right now. That's painful. My goodness.
It ruined my night, man. Like, I instantly, like, heart stopped, hands started sweating. I'm like, oh my,
Mom spaghetti. That's terrible.
frantically trying to fill out a ticket to Blizzard to see if they can transfer it over to my NA account. I haven't heard back if it's possible. Like, there's no refunds on packs. You can't write and say, like, I want my packs back. You can't do that. Fingers crossed there's sort of an exception for just switching them. Like, they haven't been opened yet or anything. I don't know if it's going to happen. But yeah, that one
My
hurt.
fiance would be asking me the next day why there's $400 missing from the money.
Yeah, exactly, because now it's going to cost me double. Yeah, so I didn't buy it on NA yet because of this small chance maybe, they'll throw me a bone and be like, yeah, here, you idiot, don't do that again.
Well, hopefully, at least you mentioned it right away, and hopefully they can.
Oh, within minutes, I mentioned it. Like, look, this is what I did. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but
You know what though? Hey, one thing, having to do with the other like Activision Blizzard news, but like they gave all of the employees all of next week off. So don't be real surprised if it's like radio silence next week.
Oh,
I know you could be sitting here like stressed out until you hear back, but like I wouldn't be surprised if you don't hear anything right away. Unfortunately.
yeah.
Yeah. Not next Monday, the following Monday, I'd just mention it on Twitter. Be like, I know y'all have been out. Fully support that. By the way,
By the way, just before this stuff goes out of the shop,
right?
I'd like to, yay or nay, please.
My goodness. I hope they can hook you up. That's a bummer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not like I'm asking for anything free.
No, it's
literally,
oops.
please just take it from this account and move it to that account. They can look at my pay history. They can see, oh, you don't spend money over here on Asia. You literally don't. And you've spent like this much over on I couldn't come
All
up
of
with
the monies.
So, I mean, the evidence speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So, a little embarrassing. And my wife, it was so funny because when this happened, you guys have heard my cat on the show. She meows at me quite often. Yeah. And I'm sitting here at the computer and I'm like frantically typing and sweating and trying to get my cat. She just won't shut up. She is meowing and meowing. And then I'm like, shut up! I like picked up the cat and I like stormed it to the bedroom, put it on the bed and slammed the door, come back and like start typing again. And my wife's like, is everything okay? No. I'm like, no, I just spent way too much money on
I was going to say, did she say like, did you draw patches again?
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so that was fun. I mean, at least it made a good story.
Wow.
It did.
Well, hey, quick side note. Two things real quick with the new Vanndar warrior hero. It's supposed to come with these custom animations, for the hero power. Sometimes the heroes do, sometimes they don't. And they were saying, hey, this one is supposed to, and it wasn't working. But one of the Hearthstone devs, Linus Flink, mentioned that it's a bug and that they've already submitted the fix for it and that it should make it into the next patch. So there's a custom animation for the new warrior hero. I guess it does like a blue, yellow, red gem thing when you hit the hero power. So should be cool. when we get it. I'm so like jamming these other skins we'll talk about in a second that I haven't even looked at this one. I have like zero interest compared to the other ones, but like, this is cool. I like this. I'm still waiting for my random hero button, but
yeah. Well, one thing that I also really like about the $80 bundle is that it comes with the Battlegrounds perks.
Those are really nice.
I know that they had talked about kind of like pulling those out of the pre-order bundle, and I'm glad that those worked in here because I don't know that I would buy them like without it, because Battlegrounds, I have a lot of fun with the mode, but it's not my primary mode.
Same.
Right. So I'm really glad that it's in one of the two bundles that I'm buying, that I have bought, because playing with only the like two heroes to choose from is not really great. And I don't know that I would pay for it otherwise. So I'm very glad that is still in this bundle.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing that's super duper cool. I'm very excited to share. I had some contact with our contact at Blizzard, who confirmed that we will be getting some codes to give away to our community here. So I'm really excited about that. I'm not quite sure, what we're getting or how many we're getting or what. But I was told to, stay tuned to hear shortly from them. And so I'm really excited. They've hooked us up the last few expansions and it's been really fun. And so, yeah, just really excited. So as soon as we have more information, we'll share it with you all, definitely. But always very cool to get the support from Blizzard. So yeah, more to come on that. But having codes to give away is
Excitement abounds.
Cool. So it's always like a kind of fanboy
awesome
out a little bit that like, Senpai noticed me.
Yeah, it feels good. Feels good. Do you guys want to talk about what else is in the shop before we move into the nerfs and buffs, or do we
okay, yeah. Wait, where do we even start? Okay, we can. I guess skins are probably the next thing up. I guess I sort of have them out of order. Like, there's just so much stuff, right? So skins.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's jump into the skins. So we have some cool robotic looking skins. We got some Iron Man skins. We got some Power Ranger skins. We got no, we have this new Chrome Crusaders bundle. Which comes in the shop, which has 5 of the skins. I can't even tell which one's which, to be honest. In here, you can see that the priest is the first one, but it's $29.99.
Paladin, Mage, Rogue, and Druid.
It looks like Druid is the last one there, and a card back that you get with it too. And there's a second one, which is the Rusted Raiders bundle, which also is super sick. And this is also $29.99 and comes with the new card back. I don't know about you guys, but these things are super cool, and I couldn't help but purchase them on the wrong server.
They do all sound like robots, so they have custom voices, custom emotes, which is cool. And yeah, it's pretty neat. I actually sat down yesterday with one of our Discord members who was interested in observing before or checking them out before purchasing them, because they're not, $60 if you're going to get them all to kind of check them out before purchasing. And so it was kind of cool. What it's interesting that they did here is that they all are animated slightly. They all have their custom voice lines, but only 2 of them have like the custom animations. So it's Illidan in the one bundle and then Malfurion in the other. And so they have like when they enter, there's like custom kind of animation thing. It looks really cool actually. And then I think there's something with the hero power. I don't know. The card, the text on the bundle, it says it all in there, but it's too small for my old eyes to read. With these bundles, you can buy them in bulk. So if you're a whale like us, you end up buying both big bundles. So, 30 and 30 for the 5 and the card back times 2. If you want, you can get the Illidan standalone. It costs $9.99 US, which comes with the Illidan and the card back, or you can get Malfurion, which comes with the Malfurion and the card back for $9.99. Or if you really want to just spend lots of money, you can buy them all individually, or you only like one, right? The Warlock one is super cool. Some of them you may like more than others, or you only play one class, whatever. But
the Warrior one is so cool.
I kind of like them all. I really like the priest one, actually, and I think they're all pretty cool. But yeah, so you can buy them individually. I don't have the price point here. I think it was $6.99.
I want to say that's right.
So
yeah, and these are the ones that don't have the super cool custom entrance animations, right? The ones that are the cheaper ones. Yeah.
What's interesting is they updated the shop, the UI in the shop. So they're listed now as Hearthstone heroes, and they're in the shop. And so you can look at them, you can buy them individually, you can buy the bundles. And so what I think it kind of led people to think was like, oh, are these not limited time only? Because everything else in the shop says limited time, and it didn't say anything here. And I thought that was interesting, because my thought was like, oh, I just spent a bunch of money on these pre-orders. I'm gonna buy these, but like if they're just gonna be here, I'll wait. But Amy Janser, who's in charge of their website, commented on Twitter, these bundles are actually time limited, same as the bundle, which means that there will be, typically the bundles are available to pre-order until the day before, or like leading up right into when the new expansion drops. And so I would say December 6th is going to be the last day that you'll be able to get these. Blizzard operates in Pacific time zone, so don't wait until the last minute. But anyhow, they're not marked limited offer, but they are limited time for sure. So
yeah, good thing to know, because that was the first thing that I noticed too, because they always say limited and they weren't this time. So thanks for Amy to clear that up for us. We also got some other stuff. If you're into Battlegrounds, there is a bundle for that too. There's so many things. I've never seen this much stuff, I swear, in the store. But for $20, you can get the Battlegrounds Ride or Die bundle, which just features a whole bunch of new skins. Not something that I'm personally going to pick up. Anybody else here? You guys play enough Battlegrounds that you want to grab this?
So with Battlegrounds, I've pretty much decided that, like I said earlier, it's not my main game mode. If skins that I really like and I think are really cool, then I'll pick it up. And so that's meant that I've ended up picking up all of them so far, and this one was unfortunately no exception. I only say unfortunately because so many things hit right now.
Yeah.
But like the Trade Prince Gallywix has a hog on him, and or on him, he's riding the hog. The other way around. And that one was the one that sold me. The other ones are really cool too. And in particular, Arana and what's the second from the right? I can't recall, but I equipped it.
I don't know.
There are like 3 or 4 of them that I'm like, okay, these are going to be the ones that I'm putting on there. But however much I currently have a complete set of Battleground stuff, I'm not a completionist about it, but they keep on releasing good skins and like getting me to pay money. So I mean, kudos to them for that, because I picked this up, but please release some bad skins so they don't have to pay money.
They have to pay for their lawsuit.
Did you guys see that tweet
Oh, which one?
with this portrait?
Oh
of
gosh, with
Gallywix
body
on the pic?
codec. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
God, I want to though.
Somebody
I'll
forward
find
that
it.
to me.
Hold
That
on.
sounds hilarious.
I'll just put it up on the screen. I just saw it. I know exactly where it is. It's hilarious, and
It's too good.
Ronan, have you been buying these skins? Is cosmetics something you're into?
I am into cosmetics, however, not for Battlegrounds. It's not, similar to. It's just not my game. It's just not my main game mode, really. But I do like them. If I can afford them, I will get them. Yeah.
Yeah, Battlegrounds is fun. I play it kind of when I'm burnt out of climbing the ladder or grinding out mercs or whatever. It's fun to just sit there and play and realize I don't know what's happening in the meta because I'm still trying to build elementals. Oh my gosh.
yeah. So it's been an interesting week in Activision Blizzard lawsuit news. My goodness, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. I feel terrible about it, and wasn't going to spend a lot of time talking about it, but since we're on the topic, I feel so bad for the Hearthstone dev team. This is the second time in a row now. So Wall Street Journal launched an article about Bobby Kotick and Activision Blizzard, and just more and more and more like despicable things. And the timing of the article releases the same day that the expansion is supposed to be announced and all of this stuff, and it's like wow, that's really awful. And so I feel bad for the team who now, instead of focusing on this joyous occasion, is now getting dumped on amidst a bunch of more pretty gross allegations of misconduct left and right all over the place. And so anyways, we've got a lot to talk about. I don't really want to dig too deep into this, but I just feel bad for the team and for the folks who this is affected. I mean, it's just despicable. And so I really hope that they're able to get better working conditions and actually have some people fighting for them. So, yeah.
His actions are reprehensible. And I personally do not support him, but I do support the devs that work on this game that we absolutely love, who are, not perpetrators of this thing, and the people who are trying to make things better at the company, which is why I don't feel, too terrible spending money on the game, because I'm, supporting these devs, right? But if you choose not to spend money on the game, then I, fully support that as well. Engage with it the way that you see fit. There's no I don't think that there's a particularly wrong way to do so. And it's tough, man. The whole situation.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Well said. 100% agree.
Yep.
Well, we have a few more things that are left in the store to talk about in the mercenaries section. So you can grab Edwin. It's a portrait set. So you get the portrait and you can get 200 coins. And this is in the store for 20
Dude, it's really
bucks.
expensive. What's interesting, I'm sorry to cut you off. What's interesting about this is it's a random Edwin portrait. So what it says is, essentially it's an Edwin portrait. I think it said,
Yeah, it just says a portrait. It doesn't say a golden portrait or whatever. It just says a portrait. So it doesn't.
My thought was, but the way that the duplicate protection works in mercenaries, right, is that you're not going to get one that you already have unless you have all of them. In which case you would get coins, and this would be really expensive coins. But if you're missing some, like, this will do the trick. My thought was like, oh wow, for the people who have all three and just missing the diamond one, is this going to get you a diamond one? Probably.
And it would. I unfortunately was not in that situation.
Me neither. And the price point, I will say the price point on this is absurd. I sat on this. Like the other stuff, I went through and just clicked like buy. And with this, I was like, I debated for a few days about it, and I read it, and I was like, wow, the price point is so expensive. But like, I've opened up so many Mercs packs and still missing all the Edwin portraits. I had got the one gold one that they offered in the shop a couple weeks back, but then missing all the rest. And so it took me a couple days. I don't have any real regrets because I got the like final form golden one, and I was like, oh, that's nice. I was missing that one and happy to get one that I don't have, but I don't know. I'm still like a little grouchy about the price point on it. But
yeah, the price on this one is a bit steep for some portraits.
Yeah,
and a couple coins.
Did you Sheep? Did you get this?
I did. Honestly, like, it was expensive for the, coins. I got the golden version of the base portrait. I was really hoping to get, like the diamond one. But now I'm only missing 2 portraits, so that's good. I do have the one that you just got with this one. And honestly, however much the coins, it was expensive for the coins. 200 guaranteed for something that I'm actively grinding, honestly probably saved me like 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
So
I thought,
I mean, I didn't feel too bad about it, but like at the same time, $20 was still a bitter pill to swallow.
So I got the, I think it was last week-ish when they had that Edwin bundle come out they had different ones where you could just get the skin or just get the, this, that, or the other. And I almost, the one that I ended up getting had the golden Edwin portrait of the base one, I think as part of the bundle is where
I didn't see that
where
one.
I got it.
There were so many different Edwin bundles.
Yeah, I almost missed it. And then I realized it was a golden one, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, there's been so much. The other thing though that came out this week finally, that I think the price point actually is pretty good, is this one here. So random mercenary portrait. So it says so it's $2.99 US. It says that you receive an unowned portrait for a mercenary in your collection. If all portraits are owned for all mercenaries you own, you will receive coins for a random mercenary in your collection instead. And then there's the payout of the coins. And so this was kind of cool. I think that the way that this works, like I saw some people respond saying like, oh, what a waste. But I think it really depends on your, like whale status, right? Mm-hmm. If you've got most of them and you're just missing a couple, like this is a great deal because you're going to get a gold or a diamond that you don't have. If you're missing a bunch of rares or epics and you're going to get one of those, probably, like, what a bummer. But I'm still missing a bunch of the golden legendaries, and so for me this was a no-brainer. I think Blue Train on there had asked if can you buy this more than once. Unfortunately, the answer is no, but the price point on this one is not bad at all. Yeah, if I could have, I think I would complete my collection with this. But
yeah, easily it would be such good price point.
The price point is quite good. So I did it. I ended up getting this Diablo, the Wandering Stranger, which I really like. Which is cool. I like it. I was, fingers crossed. I was really hoping for a diamond, but this is cool. I was happy to get it. Did any of you get this? Sheep?
I'm well on my way to getting it. That's
Sheep, what did you pull?
Yeah. So I pulled one of the Thrall portraits. Like you, I already have all the portraits for the rares and epics. I got one of the, just kind of filler Thrall portraits, but that means that I'm one portrait away, closer now to getting the diamond Thrall, which is really cool. So, filled out the collection. Honestly, at $2.99, it's worth rolling the dice. If you only lack the legendary portraits, then it's worth that. For me, everyone's situation is different, but I'm really glad that I got that, even if it wasn't one that I was kind of eyeing, that Dark Wanderer portrait. That is one of the best ones. I'm considering switching off of the Diamond Diablo to the Dark Wanderer because it just looks so cool.
Fun. It's pretty fun. What else do we have? There was a couple other things, so not shop related. They just jammed so much into this patch here. So scrolling through my notes here real quick, there is a new Book of Heroes. So and gosh, they jammed these two back to back, and so we had with this new patch that came out earlier this week, the Scabs Cutter Butter Book of Heroes is out, and they had just released Cariel's. Yeah, what is it, last week, right?
Yeah, it was back to back. They had announced Cariel by the last time that we were having a show, but we hadn't gotten to play it in between now and then. So we've since then, at the very least, had the option to play both Cariel and Scabs.
Yeah, Rownin, do you play any of the PvE content, these Book of Heroes and stuff?
So far behind, it's embarrassing.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, no worries. There's so much content in the game right now that sometimes it's hard to keep up with this stuff. I was able to kind of jam through the Cariel one, which was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. That was cool. Have not touched Scabs at all, but I'll hopefully get to it this weekend. Hydra, have you played these at all?
No, these are I'm completely caught up other than these last two. I've not played these last two, but looking forward to it. I'll do it on a lazy afternoon one day when I'm not really feeling like being stressed out playing some ladder games or whatever. It's always just chill fun. I like them. I do. I appreciate the extra content, and I appreciate the team that puts these together.
And the story has been pretty good. I really enjoy it. So it's been fun. This PvE content in particular has been quite fun. Sheep, have you played these yet?
I have. I've played through both of them. I think the Cariel one is probably the apex for me so far. Scabs was really good too, but Cariel, just the story for that whole arc was incredible. They're really knocking out of the park with these books of mercenaries. The books of heroes were good too. I never really played WoW a whole lot, so for me it was kind of illuminating, and I'm finding out the story behind these. But our friend Goliath has kind of illuminated me as well, that this is kind of like the Cliff's Notes version, right? It's not diving too deep into it. Whereas these books of mercenaries, they don't have established lore. So this is the lore, or the Book of Mercenaries, and them being able to tell that story and not kind of glossing over, as a huge amount of depth and just kind of having to skim over stuff, versus this is the story that they want to tell. And the difference between the two is really evident, particularly with the Cariel Rome book is incredible.
Yeah, definitely. 100% agree. They've been a lot of fun, and I always like being able to play these through. And when you're playing the PvE content, same with mercenaries, right? There's not having the rope or not worrying if you're going too slow, or you could do other things while you're doing it, has been nice. It's more relaxing. I really enjoy these. They're fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get into them, catch up, because I do remember playing a few early on. Then I got caught up, and I just never ended up getting back to it. But from what I remember, it was pretty fun and enjoyable.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to catch up.
Yeah, and the good thing too is it's not going anywhere, right? So even if it
Right.
takes you a while to get to it, it'll still be there.
Actually, so I was just thinking about this, right? You get packs, so you'll get a paladin pack, you'll get a rogue pack. Like, you may as well just sit on them for a couple weeks and open them when the new expansion launches,
Right.
assuming you have the cards right now, because the chance of, like, unless you're hunting for gold cards or something like that, but the chance of getting those is pretty low. You may as well just sit on it and get a bunch of brand new rogue cards. So
Right.
cool. The other thing that was kind of hidden in the patch notes, but I think was kind of fun, is that a bug went out not too long ago where Tyrantus lost the text that said cannot be targeted by hero powers and spells. And I know there were some people kind of raging about this, and it kind of sparked some conversation amongst the devs in terms of how easy is this to fix, or why does it take so long to fix, or how do you go about doing it? How come this one thing is getting fixed so quickly and this other thing takes so long? And we've already covered it, but anyhow, Tyrantus is fixed now, so congrats. Your Tyrantus can no longer be targeted by hero powers and spells. It's back to normal. So
I'll be honest, this is one of those cards that I didn't even know existed, unfortunately.
I mean, like, was the only time it was played in, was it the Big Druid back in the day? Was that about it?
Big Druid, what was it? The Twin Spell Mage card that destroys your own card and makes two things that are, the same cost. You could kind of target Tyrantus because there weren't that many in the pool. That playing Tyrantus and Mage, quote unquote, was probably where I've seen this the
funny.
most.
Conjurer's Calling, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what
Conjurer's
the card is.
Calling, yeah, that's the one.
That's funny. Gosh, yeah. This patch was just packed with content. The other things, we've got a lot more to talk about, so let me just rush quickly through the rest of it. For those of you who play Battlegrounds, there was some updates. Armor is now a thing in Battlegrounds. I haven't had a chance to try it out now, but there's this update. They've added a new hero, so Tamsin is now a new hero Battlegrounds, and then they updated a whole bunch of cards. And
Tamsin's not supposed to be very
yeah,
good.
well, I don't know. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm not real surprised. So all that stuff is in the patch notes if anybody's interested in reading. And then Mercenaries, they buffed a whole bunch of cards. A ton, actually. So Cariel, Cornelius, Grom, Jaraxxus, Varian, Illidan, Mutinous, Old Murkai, Rathorion, Rokara, Scabs, Tyrion, and Gul'dan all got buffs. Just like a ton. The thing that threw me off is that they didn't announce what they were in game. Everything just looks the same. So if you didn't read the patch notes, you wouldn't know what changed. It's not like there's a mailbox at the campsite for announcements or anything. But
Right.
Right? I mean, it's right there.
Yeah, and Demon Comp is still bad.
that's a
Unfortunately.
bummer.
I wanted it to be good so hard, and it just isn't.
I know.
Even
I'm
after
right there with you.
3 cards were buffed, it's still not good.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I know I'm always tempted to play Murlocs too, because I used the Murlocs so much in the PvE because they buff each other and they have AoE. Although I doubt that they're good to play PvP with either, unfortunately.
Though from what I've heard, they're going to be releasing content for Mercenaries very often.
Great.
Rownin was doing, yeah, I know, right? If you guys have heard of Rownin, he streams,
Yeah,
and he had one of the devs for Mercs on.
Yeah, that's
recently.
right.
And that was one of the questions that was asked is like, how often are we going to see this stuff? And they're like, probably every patch. And it's like, oh, so like once a month kind of thing. It's like, yeah, we're going to try to pump
I
them
just
out,
hope that
like,
there's a
once
better
month.
way to collect them, and they keep talking about what they're going to do with these extra coins. Like, so Sheep has a new version of the spreadsheet to track your mercs and tasks and coins and abilities and all that stuff, and so I put mine through again today to kind of check where I was, and like a couple of these, like I've got over 10,000 coins. What the heck am I going to do with these? Like, why can you keep accumulating coins for mercenaries that are well past maxed out? And I guess we'll see. Apparently they have a plan, I hope.
Exchange rate, please. Give me a coin exchange rate.
Something. I would love to be able to get like portraits that I'm missing or something like that.
Yeah, from what I heard also in that interview on Rorin's channel was there is a plan. It just needs to be play tested.
Yeah.
I
also think if they're gonna be dropping that much Mercs content as often as they are, I think they got to do something about the grind. I think personally, it can be brutal if you're one who can't play as often as some others are. So I think it would be nice, but maybe I'm asking a bit too much.
No, I
but-
think you're right on there. It
Completely
well, and just the
agreed.
whole economy thing. And I know they've switched it up a little bit, but like if the only way to get new mercenaries is going to be in like classic packs or whatever, but the way that the drop rate works is I'm still going to open up a bunch of legendaries that I already have that get converted into coins, and then I'm still missing the new ones. Like, that's just rough. And so I mean, I imagine they'll do something at some point, but
So if you don't own a Merc at all and you would get a legendary, then it should be the one that you don't have at all
okay.
yet. Should be. Yeah, it's the pack economy is really
bad.
complicated and almost needlessly so.
Yeah.
But the way that it works, if you don't have a particular legendary and you would roll into a legendary Merc, then you should get the one that
Oh,
you
you know what?
don't
I was
have.
thinking about the portraits. I was thinking about the portraits.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, hey, free packs. Quick news. There
Yay!
are so
Yay!
Masters Tour Undercity is happening this weekend. Started today, continues on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. It is being streamed live on YouTube. If you watch it and you've got your YouTube account connected to your Battle.net account, you can earn free packs. So you watch 2 hours, you get 1 pack. 2 more hours, you get another pack for max of 2 packs. These are Year of the Phoenix packs, unfortunately, so there's no reason to not open them because they're going to be old cards. But hey, free packs is free packs. I got one today. I worked all day, but I had my cell phone and I just logged into YouTube and had it playing. I just muted the volume and stuck it on the charger and went about my day and left it there. And then I logged in when I got home and got a free pack. So it was cool. So yeah, hey, yay, free stuff. Dawn, I want to give a big shout out to Dawn, that we know as Dragon Rider, who casted alongside our kind of normal crew of casters and just did a phenomenal job. And so it's always exciting when we see our friends and community members succeeding, and it's just great. She did fantastic, and so way to go, Dawn. Congrats,
Don.
Yeah,
Yeah,
congrats.
she knocked it out of the park. Fantastic job done.
Yeah.
She did.
So yeah, I'll be watching more tomorrow. I mean, I'm not really up on standard. I need Demon Hunter wins really bad, and so I wouldn't mind learning how to play. We don't really talk about standard almost ever. Do y'all know if I don't think these 2 new legendaries are allowed? Are they?
No,
They're not
they were
allowed
banned.
for the
Okay,
Masters
okay.
Tour. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. I think that is all the news. That's a lot of stuff. My goodness, it was so much this week. Kind of scrolling through. Oh, we have nerfs. Never mind.
Oh, wait.
Oh
there's
boy.
more.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think that. I mean, I don't think that these affect Wild too much. Although the buff was nice for us. We'll go through these kind of quickly just because we've been at it for almost 2 hours already. The first one up is Razormane Battle Guard. This is a Druid minion, 2 mana, 2/3 that said the first taunt minion you play each turn costs 2 less. Got nerfed to a 2 mana 2/2, so -1 health. This was a kind of a standard or staple in the standard Druid. What do you call it? Taunt Druid, aggro Druid, whatever kind of funky combo.
I played this in Wild too. I'm so sad.
Rip.
I'm so sad. I was, crying there, but like, I mean, I am legitimately sad for our boy Razormane Battle Guards. Nerf from 3 down to 2. Now it gets killed with a cannon shot. I mean, that's incredibly relevant for us in Wild in particular.
You got to think that they'll put it back when it rotates, though, right? Like,
I imagine so.
It's not oppressive in Wild. I mean, I don't know.
No, it's definitely not oppressive in Wild, but it was kind of getting there in Standard. And that 3 down to 2 break point is, really relevant for them in particular. They have less ways to deal with stuff. This is an unfortunate side effect of that. So I'm with you, Nate. I hope that whenever they rotate Razormane Battle Guard that they revert it. But this was a Forged in the Barrens card, so it won't be rotating for another year and some change.
Why is this not a Quillbore? It looks like a Quillbore.
It does, doesn't it?
I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, before I forget, I wanted to say a big thank you to Imic, who did the graphics on these. Always appreciated as a content creator, having these easily recognizable changes is so helpful. And so Imic, thank you so much for providing these. Big thank you. Next one up is Arcanist Dawngrasp. And so this is the mage quest line reward. Previously was 5 mana 7/7 that said Battlecry for the rest of the game. You have spell damage +3. Is now for the rest of the game you have spell damage +2. Oh, I'm sorry. One thing I forgot, and a big shout out also to Alec Dawson from the Hearthstone team, has always put the dev comments when they nerf cards or buff them. So the dev comment, going back real quick to the Razormane Battle Guard, was we're scaling back on Battle Guard to allow a few more answers to it in the early game. Taunt Druid is performing quite well, so we'll be monitoring it closely to determine whether any more changes are needed.
And Razormane Battle Guard, it does in fact have the Quillbore tag. It just doesn't on our graphic there, but it is.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. Okay, so the next one up is Dawngrasp, who is the reward for the mage quest line. The dev comment here says reducing the lethality of questline mage should help open up additional room for slower strategies to succeed. Nothing like losing to a 2 mana 9 damage fireball, right? And so
this one actually makes me sad because the only time I do play Standard is just to complete quests, and I play this deck.
I like it too. It's
and you can still complete it. It does make it worse. In particular, honestly, the cram session is kind of slowed down. It's more the draw engine. But other than that, I mean, the fire spell, that's name I'm blanking on, is still really good.
Ignite? Or,
Ignite, that's the one.
Ignite, yeah. I mean, it still scales and everything, so that's fine.
Yeah, the cram session is the real big nerf to Arcanist Dawngrasp there.
For sure. And we'll see. Again, this is another one. It's new, and so will it get reverted when it comes to Wild? We'll see, but it's going to be a while, so I wouldn't hold your breath there. The final
going to be a while.
That's pretty good. All right, the last nerf we have is Garrote. So this is the rogue epic spell. It says deal 2 damage to the enemy hero, shuffle 3 bleeds into your deck that deal 2 more when drawn. It has been reduced down from shuffle 3 to shuffle 2. And so the dev comment says Garrote Rogue has performed quite well at higher ranks with this is a softer change aimed at increasing the breakpoint of spell damage needed from 2 to 3, while also making armor a more effective counter to the strategy. I'm not very experienced with this deck, but typically when I've lost to it, they kind of just will like mill themselves and then dump a bunch of Garrotes in so that you're just drawing damage. So I'm not sure how big of an impact this makes. In Wild is like 0, but this was a really good deck in Standard, and so...
Yeah, it doesn't make an impact for us in Wild, but at the Masters Tours today, Garrote Rogue was the top performing deck even after the nerf. So
wow.
Yeah, it's still good. This was a needed change to keep it from being as consistent, but the top competitors in Standard are still using this like WoW. So it may get hit again. That something else may change. Field contact.
Yeah.
But this was a needed change, and probably more will come after the Masters Tour in particular. Yeah. So we'll see. That said, we've got a new expansion coming out, in just a couple of weeks. So maybe
I guess we'll see. So the last card change we have here is Renew. This is the priest spell. I recall when it got nerfed not super long ago, it used to be 1 mana. It got increased to 2, and now they are unnerfing it, or reverting it rather, to back to 1 mana. The dev comment says priest archetypes outside of Shadow have been underperforming relative to the field. This revert should add a bit of power back to those strategies. I like this as somebody who's played a ton of Reno Priest, that at 2 mana was just too, like, all right, well, I guess we're gonna probably cut it because it is not doing what I want it to do anymore. And so I'm happy with this. Reno Priest is in a terrible place in the meta, and so the buff, is the card playable again? Sure. Is the deck playable? Well, I don't know. That's another question. It definitely was when the Druid bug was happening. I know we saw Martian and some other players switch over. I think Shia was playing some Reno Priest because it would do fairly well against aggro, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but I'm happy to see it back at 1. I think that it's healthy for our form.
I'm glad that the devs are willing to look at stuff like this and be able to do early reversions and whatnot, and take back what they've done in the past. And before, it took us like 6 months to get a single nerf sort of thing, and then it would be nerfed into the ground and cards were just dead. So I'm really happy when they do stuff like this.
Rest in peace, Warspawn Commander.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's good. And I think, we have it so good, being that it's a digital card game where they can just go in and change this type of stuff without having to print new cards, or do a bunch of bans or whatever it is. So yeah, I think we are pretty fortunate in that regard.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, is there more news? Did we miss anything? I don't know. There was so much.
I think that's it for the news. I think we got it.
Whew. Okay. All right. Well, something kind of fun tonight. I don't want to spend too much time on it because, of course, we're running long, but I wanted to touch on kind of briefly. We've got this interim period between now and December 7, which is approximately 2 weeks away, a little bit more than that. But so we've got 2 new legendaries to play with. We've got Drek'Thar and we've got Vanndar Stormpike. And so depending on which one you chose, there are some decks in Wild that utilize these cards. And so earlier this week, we had reached out kind of on Twitter and in Discord to folks to say, hey, do you have any fun decks with these legendaries that we can experiment with? And got a handful of people who reached out and provided deck lists. And so these are kind of fun. So if you're looking for something to play in the interim, unfortunately, I've not been able to test most of these. Then the ones that I really want to play are the ones with Drek'Thar, who I do not have. But
especially Mentalistics. I can't wait for us to talk about that one.
Yeah, these are so good. So quickly to kind of look through them, I'm going to go with Drek'Thar first. Is Otters, our buddy Otters, has this APM mage, and this is just dirty. I don't know what else to say. So Drek'Thar will pull your Flamewakers and your Sorcerer's Apprentices, and it's like, and then it's just a bunch of low cost spells. You got Molten Reflections, and this is.
And not only is it a tutor, but it plays them as well, right? Like it's gross.
I played like 40 games with this list. Turn 4, I pulled both Sorcerer's Apprentice, Conjure Mana Bun, coined into Flamewaker, and had a priest down to like 10 health by turn 4. Yeah, it's a fun list.
Wow. Well, hey, Mage has been
That's incredible.
Mage has been unplayable for a little while. I mean, the Ignite Mage has been kind of hit and miss. I think at the very high legend levels, people still play it pretty successfully. But well, here we go again. So Drek'Thar, as it turns out, is pretty good. Sheep, I think you will really like the next one. Also, our friend Mentalistic has an aggro druid list here with Drek'Thar, and again, I think where Drek'Thar suffers is with Battlecry minions, you don't want to run it because it just pulls them. And you think of it like Call to Arms, right? But in aggro list, this seems pretty good. So
it's incredible. And some of the choices there are kind of unfortunate if you pull it, like Galaka Crawler and Jerry Ray Carpenter. But some you pull and you're just like chilling. Like there's Narrowbore Web Lord, of course the Pirate package, and it's aggro druid, so you've still got Mark of the Lotus, Embiggen, which is clutch, and just a whole lot of cheap pirates. And hey, if you toss down a ship's cannon and then Drek'Thar and pull pirates, you're just doing cannon shots too. So I'm a really big fan of this list. Worth noting, if you Embiggen twice with Drek'Thar in your hand, Drek'Thar costs 4, and then the 2-drops now cost 4 as well. But if Drek'Thar is in your deck for the first Embiggen, doesn't matter because Drek'Thar then costs 5. If you then draw him and then your second Embiggen, doesn't matter because your 2-drops now cost 4. Drek'Thar costs 5. You're still chilling.
Yeah.
So
I hadn't thought of that. Good point.
So if you've got Drek'Thar in your hand, don't play both Embiggens until after you Drek'Thar. Just
gotcha. No, that's good. That's a good heads up play there. Yeah. Okay, so next one up, I've got a list from Sinferno, which is a Paladin list. It is running Drek'Thar and Call to Arms, 2 copies of Call to Arms, and it's just a pretty aggressive list. It's based on like Tax Paladin, and so early game you've got the Oh My Yogs in terms of like the tax stuffs, right? So you've got the Narrowbar Web Lords, and then this is running some secrets, the Crossroads Gossiper. It's running Arcane Golems, which have charge.
That's great.
If you pull them with Drek'Thar, they just go face. And so
no battle cry.
Nate, you say that this runs 2 Call to
actually
Arms.
3.
I see 3.
I'm so disappointed every time I pull one of these lists into the client and it says missing 1 card. I'm like, I want to play it.
Especially seeing that aggro druid, I'm just like, why did I have to
I know.
pick the other? Oh no.
Okay, so the last list that I have to spotlight for Drek'Thar is a rogue list, and I love this. So I got this from Deillusion. This was a list here that was inspired by Ribby HS, and the idea here, it's just really aggressive lineup, but it's running a bunch of weapons. It's running poisons and stuff. It's running the eviscerates, and the goal here is to pull the arcane golems with Drek'Thar, but it's running gang ups and scimitar. It's running shopkeep for the tradable and stuff, and it's just super aggressive. But can you imagine like you played Drek'Thar and a couple of arcane golems pop out? Golems, it's like
just poop out.
Awesome.
There are a total of 3 minions in the deck: Drek'Thar and 2 copies of arcane golem.
Right.
Everything else is burn or
crazy.
weapon and weapon buff.
I love
incredible.
it. I'm gonna give this one a shot. This one looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks really fun. The codes for all of these, they're on the show notes. We posted them earlier today to Twitter, and we can put them in our Discord as well. So they will be available. And Sheep just put it in the chat for anybody who's watching live on Twitch.
Nate, we could do a thing where we share decks and then verse each other, and then we could use the other person's legendary.
There you go. I like it. Yeah. So anyway, these are fun. These are fun. I'm excited to be able to play them. I really, always looking forward to kind of a meta shakeup. Rownin, you said you would pick Drek'Thar. What have you been playing? You said primarily this APM mage. Anything else that you've tried?
I played the Mentalistic Druid list as well, which it is good. It is fun. But you do, just like Sheep said, I found out pretty quickly you don't want to ambiguous.
Yeah. Whoops.
Both of them. I did that the first time, and oops, yeah. So, but it is a good list along with this APM mage. I've yet to try out any of the others, but I'm looking forward to this rogue list in particular.
Yeah, they look like a lot of fun. Okay, well, I'm going to switch gears real quick then, and then look at the other legendary that we've got, which is, I always forget the name, Vanndar, right?
Vanndar
Stormpike.
Yeah.
Okay, so
My WoW friends have said that they didn't know that Stormpike had a first name, so we can just call them Stormpike
go.
as well.
all right, so the first list that I have is from Lord Zav. This is a hunter list, which looks really fun to me. So, and I guess brief caveat is that Drek'Thar is like the aggro decks, right? And Stormpike is your more like Timmy decks with a bunch of big giant minions, and now we want to try to cheat them out. I learned the hard way, because I've been playing with Vanndar this week, that it only impacts, like the battle cry only reduces the cost of minions in your deck. So if you're sitting on these giant minions in your hand, rip. I don't know what else to say. But it doesn't reduce anything in your hand. And so that's kind of a bummer. This list looks super fun. The early part of the deck, right? Because you can't have any minions that cost 4 or less. So the early part of this is a bunch of secrets and removals. And then the top of this is just a bunch of giant. You've got Lotheb, you've got Polkelt to reshuffle, Battlemaster to give your stuff Wind Fury, and then Swamp King Dread, Beastmaster, Leorox, 2 Charged Devil Swords, and a King Crush. And so it's just giant beasts on the top end. And I love it.
So what you really want to do is discount your Beastmaster Leorox, get Charged Devil Swords in hand, and then, swing face, because if you pull them from your hand without playing them, they've got charge and they can immediately go face.
Right?
Let's go.
Yes. One of my favorite things is mana cheating, and so that's where this sort of appeals to me. I've been struggling with it, but these decks look pretty fun. So here's the Lord Zav one. The next one I've got is from Monos. It's a Paladin list, and this one's pretty interesting. It's running both copies of N'Zoth, which is really fun. But so here's the idea here. It's running 2 copies of Call to Arms, which seems a little bit counterintuitive, but the idea here is that once these cards are reduced, then you play Call to Arms, and Call to Arms is now dropping Leroy Jenkins and Moonfang and
Claw Machine, which will then tutor out your N'Zoth, hopefully. Your other N'Zoth, your Varian, which are not discounted to 3 or below, so it's not getting pulled from Call to Arms, but it can get pulled into your hand with the Claw Machine. Well, that's really clever.
It seems fun, right? I think this is cool. I have not had a chance to play it as of right now, but just the idea of it really appealed to me, that this is taking this kind of mana cheat to a whole different level with the Call to Arms.
It's so creative.
I love it.
I like this outside the box thinking.
Yeah, it's good. And then I've got one other Paladin list from Ian LaBruce, who is like the Paladin expert. And this is a different kind of Call to Arms, where the whole part of the early game is a bunch of secrets. I've got Sword of the Fallen with a bunch of secrets, Muster for Battle, which is great. Call to Adventure will pull your Stormpike because it's the lowest cost minion. So then you would play Stormpike, which is great. Tutors are great. And then your other minions here, the idea is Call to Arms. We'll pull them as well. This is running Moonfang. It's running 2 Stranglethorn Tigers, which are interesting. But because they've got stealth, you can't target them. And then you would drop a Battleground Battlemaster to give them Wind Fury and just smash face. So there's some like, if not OTK potential, then pretty close. So this deck looks super fun. And I definitely trust Ian in all things Paladin, because that's his jam. He's got more wins than like anybody with the Paladin stuff. When I see this deck posted on his Twitter and it's all in gold, like, it's serious business. So
He even got the new legendary in gold.
That was fast.
So my inner like Timmy is so excited to try all these because I love cheating the mana. The next one out is from my buddy Silent Nick, who and this is another like super greedy deck, but it looks so fun. This is double N'Zoth Hadronox Druid. So the early game is spells, it's ramp, it's got your Vanndar. The interesting thing here is it's got a Juicy Psych Melon. And so you can draw some stuff. I do not know how Juicy Psych Melon works post Vanndar. It may no longer work as intended. I'm not sure. Because the cards now cost a different amount. So I imagine that probably don't quite work the same, but I don't know. I suppose it could help you find your Hadronox though, if you're looking for it. So the top end works with the Hadronox. So I've got Kartut Defenders, Winged Guardian, Moarg Forge Fiend, which you're looking at, beasts and demons, and so when you play N'Zoth, God of the Deep, they would come back. And then you've got N'Zoth the Corruptor as well. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. Scrapyard Colossus is an elemental. And so it's just like it's bringing this stuff back over and over and over. So it looks really fun. There was a question, why are they called Timmy? It's kind of a long story, but it's old like Magic the Gathering terminology. The players fall into different categories. What is it? It's a Timmy, a Spike, and a something else that I can't remember.
Yeah, so Spike is the kind of competitive style. And Timmy is the like splashy big things that aren't necessarily as competitive, but it scratches that particular itch.
Yes.
And Johnny. That's the person who does like the crazy complex weird
combo. Yeah. All right.
So this Hadronox Druid looks really interesting. One thing that I kind of want to jam into it, but I don't see there is Witching Hour, but I think that might be a little too greedy.
It might. And
I was looking for it too. I'm like,
well, you gotta be.
I trust Silent Nick, so I'm not, questioning it, but I'm also like, if I were to make this, what would I cut for a Witching Hour?
Yeah, you got to be careful because it brings back a beast, and so when you're
Winged Guardian is a beast.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd probably cut those.
It's because it's got the N'Zoth God of the Deep synergy here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
which I would use to get another Hadronox, huh? It's like running 3 Witching Hours.
that's the goal, right? All right, cool. And then I've got one last list. Sorry, my cat is walking right in front of the screen and I can't see anything.
Space Invader.
Move it. Okay, so
I got to see it twice.
The last list I have here is from Serbian Hammer. It is an even Warlock list, and it's running Vanndar Stormpike as well. I was really curious to see if anyone would run this in even Warlock, and how it would work in even Warlock, because the cards already, like at the top end, have reduction based on your health or your hand size. And so on the top end, your Gold Shire Knolls, Mountain Giant, Molten Giant, and I don't know how the reduction is going to work. I mean, I assume they just stack, right, with Vanndar and the way the cards normally work, but seems interesting.
That's how it works with, like Celestial Alignment, so that should be the case here as well.
Cool. Well, it looks fun. I have not had a chance to try. I've been sort of cultivating lists all week, and I'm anxious to kind of try these out though and see how they play. So yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I can't wait to try this one and the even lock. Things like the Entitled Customer and of course Anatheron and Abyssal Summoner, like just a whole lot of really, really clutch 6 drops in particular are right there. So I'm excited to try that one out. as well as I may put a slight variation of the Hadronox Druid, but I think both of those scratch that inner Timmy itch.
Oh yeah.
How about y'all with your Drek'Thars?
Oh, I'm gonna go rogue for sure. That one looks awesome.
Yeah, definitely the rogue. I mean, what's interesting about Vanndar, it's such an interesting play style. And this is why I went with Drek'Thar, is because I don't know that I would play him unless I could tutor him out consistently, which the Tax Paladin, was it the Tax Paladin that tutors him out? I think it was.
It was I think it was the other one. It was City Tax.
Call to Adventure.
Or no, I'm sorry. You're right. It's Call to Adventure because I think what it says is draw your lowest cost minion and give it +1/+1 or something like that.
Right.
And so you could tutor it that way. Yeah,
exactly.
It looks like an interesting list to me.
Very cool. Well, good times in store for us. It's always nice to be able to play with the new cards before the whole set comes out, and I'm so relieved that we are going to end up with the other legendary in gold as well. So hey, two gold legendaries for free. I like it.
We take those,
right? Yeah, should be good. I will say one final note. I got kind of dust baited into playing that big Demon Hunter in Standard. It was a list from Tice, who, of course, is an incredible player, right? He posts a list on Twitter with the comment "Meta Breaker." And you look at it, and he's joking, right? Because he posted his stats. It was like he went 6-0 with it, but 6 games, of course. What a Oh, so much data there. So sample size is small. I think that he's an incredible player with a maybe not so incredible deck. And I learned the hard way, you'll end up with a whole hand of 10 cost stuff and you play Vanndar, which really does nothing to the stuff in your hand. I love the idea of it. And I think that it's just not quite there yet. And so, the archetype of big demon hunter in general, like it's so close, but it's just not quite there. We tried it in so many different iterations, and we'll get there maybe. I think I like the other version of it better. With Proving Grounds seems more fun to me, but even then it's like, well, you got to like hard mull for Proving Grounds, otherwise you're kind of in trouble. But anyways, good times. And Armorn shared it in the Discord, and I really appreciate it. It's always fun to check out this new stuff, and I can't wait for a way to make it work. What I'm doing is I'm watching Draco Cat, who truly is like the Demon Hunter expert, and he'll find a way to make it work, and then I can copy it. So that's the plan.
Coming in the expansion that will make Big Demon Hunter a thing in Standard, I think. So I'm excited to pick Draco Cat's brain there for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. Well, that's about it for our kind of spotlight on the new legendaries in these decks. So switching gears towards the end of the show to look at our weekly challenge. If I may pass it over to Sheep.
Absolutely. So this So last week's challenge, was A Pirate's Life for Me. Take a class that doesn't really have a pirate deck and make a pirate deck with it. So we had a number of really good, really, really incredible submissions, and then I submitted one too.
And I think we offered bonus points for fanfic, right? Or some what did we say, rationale for why it was in the deck or something like that.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how much we did, but we definitely got some very interesting and very inventive narratives there, and I'm a big fan of that. Always.
It's always a bonus when we get that. I can't remember who first suggested that, but genius idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was Schmoopy Daddy. I don't recall. It was something like that. But the fanfic's always just ridiculous and funny. And I'll never forget like the time when we had Jordan on and played or read the fanfic to the like smooth jazz. So great.
That was a funny episode.
Oh my goodness. Oh dear.
So the winner this week is Bitbeaker. Bitbeaker made this fantastic Set Sail to the North Shaman.
The narrative here is so entertaining as to why each card is in the deck. I think some are more creative than others, but like they're just so good. And things that I hadn't thought of. Animated broomstick, a tool to swab the deck, matey. Finders keepers, because we'll take whatever loot we find.
Patches the pirate. I wish he was still in charge.
Yeah, these are great. Brilliant macaw, smarter than Captain's parrot, but don't tell him that.
Captain's parrot, squawk, pieces of 8, squawk.
That's good.
Oh, geez. And then, a couple of these I hadn't even thought of. There was the arena treasure chest, and the toothy chest, horde pillager. These are just so great. Like the narrative it's so fun. So there's so much flavor here. It's great. So good job there.
And at the very end of it, Bitbeaker also kind of gives a summary. So this deck list is a story about the South Sea Pirates and their adventure to the North Sea to slay the North Sea Kraken. Along the way, they found treasure and weapons. Meanwhile, on board, everyone served their role, whether they're a cook, captain, general, or generalist. The South Sea Pirates braved the seas and passed through the eye of the storm before dropping a depth charge to slay the North Sea Kraken. What will their next adventure be?
It's so great.
That's good.
Oh, good times. Like, congrats, Bitbeaker.
Yeah, congratulations to Bitbeaker. Of course, Bitbeaker, for winning our weekly challenge, get spotlighted on the website, the ever vaulted bragging rights. So congratulations, Bitbeaker, there. And even more than that, gets 2 packs on us. So congratulations for winning last week's weekly challenge, Bitbeaker.
Nice.
That's one more pack than Nate got watching Hearthstone all day. So, kind of a good deal.
Hey, that's right.
And Bitbeaker gets to choose which expansion, too. Like, check that out.
Hey, there we go. Nice. Very good.
So, Nate, what is this week's challenge?
Yeah, so we wanted to base this week's challenge around the new mech skins that we got, and I think we were chatting with Rownin about this earlier. It's like the first thought that came to mind when we saw these is like, oh, this is Gundam, right? We've got our giant robots, and I had been thinking a little bit like harken back to the Voltron days and assembling mechs that go together. And so this week's challenge is to, and I think we may have touched on this in the past. I don't quite recall, but if so, we're doing it again. The idea here is to assemble the largest mech using various magnetic mechs. That sound about right, Hydra?
Yeah, like just see if you can get the most variety into the biggest mech. I think would be the coolest thing. If you can, just get not just like, I don't know, we don't just need snip snap, right? So it would be great to have just as many as possible all built into a mecha mech.
right.
Well
Snip
said.
can be one mech that is snapped on as well, but would include more than just snip snap.
Hey, bonus points if you're able to do it on a fully assembled Voltron. Like, I want to see like a Voltron as like a 100-100.
Oh, Voltron, and then
Bonus points for that. Not a requirement. Please don't go craft it, okay? Don't do that. But
some assembly required.
Some assembly required. Yes.
Oh, I love it. Yes. So
as always, to participate, games can be played either in ladder or on casual. You don't need to tank your rank to participate, but you can. So ladder or casual, but they cannot be done against a friend. They'll let you win. They'll let you get there, or the innkeeper or other PvP content. They won't try to let you win, but they will. So take a screenshot and post it in our Discord in the weekly challenge section, and we will share the winner on next week's show. The winner, of course, gets 2 packs on us and bragging rights.
Very good. And be immortalized on the website Hall of Fame as well. So,
yeah.
Yes. Good times. Good times.
So, assemble the largest, some assembly required, not just largest, but most combined mech that you can, and drop that onto that Discord. So, Nate, I think it's time for you to wrap us on up.
All right. Yeah, that is a wrap for our show tonight. So before we end here, I do definitely want to say a big thank you to the patrons of our show. First and foremost to Shokunin, who has been our kind of ever faithful godfather of the wild community here. And is the executive producer of our show. So thank you so much for always being there. And thank you to our patrons, Disruptor108, Claudette G, Daniel B, Wildcard, Aramorn, Ben from Work, Turtle Boy, and Number Theory. Thank you all very much for your support. It's very much appreciated. If anybody out there who is watching live or watching this on YouTube, listening to it on any of the various audio podcast outlets, and you're interested in supporting our show financially, you can visit our website at borntobewildhs.com. If you click on the Find Us page, there's a link to our Patreon. We have plans as low as $1 a month if that's something that you're interested in. Always appreciated, never required. The other piece is that if you're somebody who's on Twitch a lot, we do have emotes that you can unlock by subscribing to us. And we were just talking about this before the show. Twitch just updated for affiliates. We all get extra emote slots. And so we've got 3 emotes right now. But I talked to our artist, Christina, and she's happy to work with us again and make some more. And so we've got to figure out what extra emotes that we want. So I think we get 5 plus an animated one. So we've got 3 right now. And so we'll have 3 more incoming. So it's very exciting, very exciting. Anyways, my last big thank you is to Rownin. So thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. It's always good to meet new friends and spend time together. So thank you for donating your time.
Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, where can people find you if they want to interact with you or check out your content?
You can find me on Twitter at RoninHS. Don't forget the W. And then mainly you can find me on youtube.com/Ronin, where you can see all of my wonderful Hearthstone content.
Awesome. Yes. And that will be, that link will be shared. It'll be in our show notes. It will be up on our Discord. And so, yeah, please check it out. There's some great content there. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for spending your evening with us, Ronin. It's been great getting to know you better and getting to meet the man behind the YouTube channel as well. So thanks so much for spending your evening with us, man. It's been great.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. So as for me, I can be found around the internet at Electric Sheep City at places where that fits, like Twitch, and at eSheep City at places where that doesn't fit, like Twitter. Hydra, where around the internet can you be found?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Hydralisk_HS for both. And you can find me in the Discord, lurking around there with these fine gentlemen. I highly suggest you guys come check it out. We got a really nice community that's constantly growing. And it's just whenever there's new cards that are coming out, we're all chatting about them. Whenever, someone's dog does something funny, we're chatting about that too.
Yes.
Whenever Wildcard poses like a dog, we're chatting about that. So it's a fun place to be. So highly recommend it. I want to say one more big thanks to Ronin for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure getting to know you more, and I've watched some of your videos on YouTube in the past, and I think I'm gonna go and watch a few more. So thank you once again for coming on.
Thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. And we really, really do appreciate you coming on, man. Nate, where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm really active on Twitter. You can find me there at NateWolfTCG. That's NateWolfeTCG. More importantly, you can find the show and everything related at our website, which again is borntobewildhs.com. At the website, you can find links to all of our past episodes. If you're looking for other wild content creators, we've got a whole list of all of our past guests and links to their content, whether it's YouTube or Twitch or whatever other platforms that they have. We've got our Hall of Fame that's going up there and a bunch of other content. If you're interested in the lore behind the cards, we've been working with Goliath the Dwarf to post standalone lore episodes, and that's going to be really fun. We've got some more in the works, and so that'll be great, and all of that stuff is available on our website. So yeah, please check it out. And then I would just second what Hydra said about the Discord. It's so much fun just interacting with everybody. One of my favorite things is chatting with folks. We've made a lot of friends that way, but also it's dangerous to go alone. It's always fun to co-op, and so if you're interested in learning a deck or just hanging out with people, we do have co-op channels as well to play Hearthstone with friends, and it's always fun to check out. So yeah, to close out the show here, final little piece, something we always like to do is to give shout outs. And so a special shout out from me for this week is a member of our Discord, Hardy Gardy, who had tagged me in a post earlier this week, saying, hey, I just want to say a huge thanks to Nate Wolf TCG. I was using your Pirate Warrior deck, the one you posted, I believe, on the very first day after the mini set released. Went from Platinum and hit Legend on both Europe and NA using that deck. Was just great. And so a note here about Mr. Smite. I see there are a lot of speculations and doubts regarding Mr. Smite in this deck, but I can say after 100 plus games on this deck that this card is a must-have, since it works as the perfect finisher, or it can be used to save you when you're in deep trouble. And I agree 100%. Congrats on the double legend. That's great. And I love being tagged in these, and that's great. It's super awesome. And so big shout out to you, Hardy Gardy. And then one final just big ups to Dawn, aka Dragon Rider, for casting Master Tour Undercity. She did an absolutely amazing job, and it's always fun to see our friends succeed. So yeah, congrats and big ups. Sheep, what about you?
Yeah, of course, congratulations to Dawn. She killed it. My shout out is to our friend Dr. BOMD. Doc, thank you so much for helping guide me through the foot issues. And of course, for being a great and supportive friend outside of that as well. But especially while I've been going through the hoof issues lately, it's been great to have someone who I could, not just kind of vent, but also like have some productive and proactive like feedback to actually kind of help me on that road to recovery. So thanks so much, Doc, for all that you do. Not limited to the foot issues. So it was great feedback. Thank you, Nate.
I can't help myself. I'm sorry.
So thank you, Doc. I really appreciate all that you do for us. Hydra, what about you?
I had a joke that I just decided not to say. Well, then maybe Nate should talk to Doc McButt.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you.
I didn't mean to take advantage of your situation there.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, that's great. Oh, God.
Yeah. Okay, I can compose myself. I wanted to say a big thanks to Goliath the Dwarf, because in the past, Goliath has put in a lot of effort into these lore episodes that we do, and we're looking to be working with Goliath a little more, doing a bunch more in the future. And he really, really puts in a lot of work into all of this, and I definitely appreciate it. So thank you, Goliath.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. He is an amazing person, and I always love the lore as well. It's wonderful. So some fun projects in store. So stay tuned for more on that front. All right, to wrap up the show, Rownin, we wanted to give you kind of the final word here. Anyone you want to shout out, or any Parting shots or words of wisdom?
My shout out goes to all of the people and employees who were not only affected by what's going on at Blizzard, but for those who are just standing up for what is morally correct and, creating all these groups and doing these great things. So my shout out goes to all of you.
Love it. I love it. Wiser words were never spoken. You heard that on Born to be Wild.